As we hit the midway point of the 2010 season, the Jimtown Jimmies are ranked number 2 in Class 3A and rolling over opponents. Tonight, they're in Rolling Prairie to take on a new Prairie squad that over the years has given the Jimmies fits. Marty Moss's squad is off to a tough start this season, but they'd like nothing more than to upset their conference rivals. Can Jimtown keep its big league winning streak alive? Find out next. It's time to hit the switch on 46.
It's Friday night in Indiana.
And it's time for the game of the week.
This week's 46 Game of the Week is sponsored by Meyer, TCU, Electrical Workers Local 153, Holy Cross College, Heat and Frost Insulators Local 75, First Federal, IU South Bend, Hoosier Trophies, Vogue School of Beauty, Elkhart General Hospital, Quality Glass, and Imagineering Finishing Technologies.
On a picture-perfect September night, we have rolled into Rolling Prairie. You are looking at Amzie Miller Field, where tonight these Northern State Conference rivals collide. Jimtown, ranked number 2, takes on New Prairie on the 46th Game of the Week. And how you doing, everybody? Between the Hall of Famers, Bo Hunt and Bob Nagel, I'm Chuck Freeby. Thanks for making us part of your weekend. It is great to have you with us. The Jimtown Jimmies have had a colossal defense this year. Not only are they 4-0, they have given up 3 points in those 4 games. Bob, how are they so good?
Well, they've got a great front seven, Chuck, and they get after you as long as they let them play. And the thing is, even their backups are getting experience now. We're at Game 5 of the season, so your backups are better. And the thing is, they got to keep that level. They got a tough test next week against Concord. They don't want to talk about it, but a lot of people are. So they got to keep their focus tonight on New Prairie.
Facing a top 10 team, nothing new for these Cougars. They have now played 3 top 10 teams in their first 5 games. No wonder Marty Mawson's team is 1-3. So a lot of people wonder, well, can they even score on Jimtown? But Marty's worried about winning the football game.
He really is, and keeping his team, Chuck, and it's really tough. But he said, I'd rather play tough competition early to find out where our weaknesses are so we can become a better team, because everybody makes the playoffs. Tonight is another big test for them, another ranked team. They came off a loss to Culver last week. Didn't have a lot of confidence down there, but they've had a good week of work. They're going to have to play hard on every down to stay with Jimtown.
On the sidelines, as always, the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Bo Hunt. And Bo, let's talk about this Jimtown team, because on the horizon for the Jimmies, they've got Concord next week. They play a top 10 team in Culver the week after. So could they be looking past the Cougars tonight?
Well, I think one of the most important things is throughout this week, all the Jimtown coaches had to have been preaching, focus on this week. 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time. Just focus on this week. Don't look ahead. Concentrate on what has to be done here. And for this game here, play the first 2 quarters. You know, they're looking at, it could be a high-scoring game. Play the first 2 quarters as hard as you can. Go all out, play as hard as you can, and then we'll see what happens at halftime and then make some adjustments then.
Just remember, Jimtown coach Mike Campbell never lost a Northern State Conference game as a player, and he still hasn't lost one as a coach. Can he keep his streak intact? We've got the pregame show and the keys to win next on the 46 High School Football Game of the Week. Welcome back to Rolling Prairie as we count down to kickoff between Jimtown and New Prairie. Time now to look at our keys to win for tonight's game. And as you take a look at this Jimtown team, they love to run the football, and it's such a diversified attack. But we've picked out 2 running backs to keep an eye on. One is Nick Bertola. Why? Well, he is their leading ground gainer. 254 yards and 6 touchdowns already for the 5'9", 175-pound senior. But he gets a lot of help. In fact, a guy that's not even in the starting lineup is another key to this team. That's Devin Emerson. He's averaging over 7 yards a carry, 34 rushes for 247 yards, and Bobby really gives them a dimension of speed that lends something to this Jimtown offense.
He really does, Chuck. When you look at Latola leading the team with 250 yards rushing, you'd say, well, on a running team like this, he should have more than that, but they have 6 or 7 guys they can give the ball to, and they trust him with it, and Emerson is certainly one of them. The keys to win for Jimtown tonight, they have to avoid giving up the big play. So far this season, so good. They've only given up 3 points. They've been tested, but so far, so good. They got to stop the fullback. That's always the first option with an option team. They got to make Carlisle handle the ball. They want to hit him as often as they can, and so they got to stop the fullback. And no freebies. I'm not talking about my partner now. I'm talking about, except in the booth, turnovers will be the one way to stop the Jimmies under third-year head coach Mike Campbell. Coach, another big Northern State Conference clash, and every time you go on the field in the conference, it's added importance.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially coming here to New Prairie. I think we won in 08, but before that we hadn't won here since 2002, so we know we're going to have a tough contest and against a very well-coached New Prairie team. Coach Mawson's going to have them ready to go. And, their record doesn't really show how good they really are. They play those big 5A teams the first couple games, but their quarterback can do a lot of good things, and they have some big, strong linemen like they always do.
You got a lot of people in your backfield doing a lot of good things. You can count on 4 or 5 different guys back there every game. It's got to be a nice luxury, but I know getting them reps is important.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to get everybody their touches, but in the end it kind of works out. No one really becomes a workhorse, so to speak, and gets worn out. So there's always a fresh back in there, which is always good. And a lot of those guys play defense too, so we kind of have to do that.
A lot of times early in the season, defense is ahead of offense. You guys have given up 3 points all season. Your defense was ready when the season started. They continue to play well.
Well, our front seven's doing a heck of a job of controlling line of scrimmage, being where they're supposed to be. I think we still need to have some things worked on because, in the film session, things like that, there's some, blown assignments and stuff, but either by luck or just overcoming it with some kids making some outstanding plays, we've been able to avoid people getting in the end zone, which we keep telling the kids that's going to change sometime. What's going to happen when people actually do score on you? How are you going to bounce back? So we've just been trying to keep getting better each week, and hopefully the kids are responding to that.
You're off to a great start. Good luck. Stay healthy.
Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
For the New Prairie Cougars, really they love to run that option attack, and the guy that makes it go is their quarterback. He's only a junior by the name of Cody Carlisle. 5'11", 155 pounds. He averages almost 4 yards a carry. That may not be impressive, but for Marty Mawson, that's exactly what he wants out of that position, and don't turn the ball over. And then on defense, the middle linebacker who will be tested tonight by that powerful running game is Robert Tenderenda. You won't find a tougher kid. 5'11", 185 pounds, and the senior, he leads them in tackles. And I'll tell you what, this kid is a survivor and a battler if you've ever seen one.
He's a tough kid, Chuck, and the keys to win for New Prairie will be to hold that line, and that's on both sides of the ball. But on offense especially, Jimmy's like to disrupt the timing of an option team. They got to give them time to work back there. Got to keep the linebackers free to make plays like Robert Tenderenda. If he's got room to move, he can get in there and disrupt that timing for Jimtown. They got to take their time, and some of the Jimmies as well. Move the chains, run the clock. You know the equation. Keep the ball away from the Jimmies. Third-year head coach Marty Mawson has his team ready.
Marty, the win-loss record, maybe not a very accurate compilation of where your team is right now because 1-3, but you have played a very rugged schedule. Give me an evaluation of your team.
You know what, it's I've had that question asked me quite a bit in the last 3-4 weeks, and we opened up with LaPorte, our county rivals, which is a great game, and it's great for both communities. And then second game of the season we had Chestertown is ranked in the top 10 in 5A, and they have a great team, and Coach Snyder's doing an awesome job over there, and it was really impressive to play in that game because they're a serious quality opponent. And then we turn around and beat a good Bremen team that I think is going to make a lot of noise in the sectionals in 2A. And then last week we got upended by a top-ranked team in the state in 1A in Culver. And Culver's Andy Thomas is doing a great job down there. So our first 4 games it's been fun to coach in.
So your third top 10 team that you face out of the first 5, what concerns you most about the Jimmies?
Jimmy's are so seasoned right now. Their offensive defensive line is so tough. They are very well coached and they're so aggressive. That is the biggest concern for us right now is getting some control of the line of scrimmage.
What is your team doing well right now? What are your strengths?
You know, I think that our kids they know what we're trying to do offensively and defensively, and we just need to finish things. We have to finish our blocks some more, sustain a little bit longer, stay lower on the offensive defensive line, come off the ball a little bit harder, and I think that we're real close. I mean, it's almost there.
I imagine a quick start is imperative tonight, too.
It's a huge part. You know what? I mean, our goal tonight is, number one, is that we've been working on our offense, defense lines and just staying low and getting into their techniques and moving the sticks and getting some ball control and keeping the ball in the Cougars' hands as much as possible and out of the Jimmy's hands because they're dangerous.
Always great to be here at New Prairie. Good luck to you and the Cougars tonight.
Oh, thank you very much.
All these fans, the face painters, they've been out here since about 5 this afternoon. And the Jimtown fans made the long trek over from Bogo Township. They've all brought their snacks, their hot dogs, their fried chicken, their mashed potatoes, and the very thought of losing to New Prairie gives the Jimmy fans dyspepsia. Well, we've got the opening kickoff coming up next on TV 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you by Meyer. Higher standards, lower prices. That's Meyer.
If you build it, they will come. Actually, this is football season, not baseball. We're glad to be with you from New Prairie High School, MZ Miller Field. And Jimtown Jimmy's taking on New Prairie in this Northern State Conference class. Jimtown leads the all-time series, 28 wins, 12 losses. The last time New Prairie won was in 2006, year they also won a regional title. Last meeting, Jimtown won it 24-7 a year ago. The weather forecast for tonight, beautiful, 65 degrees, winds out of the south at about 2 miles per hour, no chance for rain, and we've been here when the forecast was different than that. We'll share that with you a little bit later, but let's take a look at the officials for tonight's game. These are the folks from over the North Judson area. Jerry Jernus heads up the crew along with Bill Dunbar, Dave Houghton, Steve Hussing, and Don Amaday are the officials for tonight's game, and we appreciate their efforts. New Prairie won the toss and deferred. Jimtown will receive. They'll defend the goal to the east, looking into the sun. And as they take the field, you got to know how important this game is for the second-ranked Jimtown Jimmies, leading the conference and needing to play like the champions that they want to be. This is New Prairie's chance, after a tough start record-wise, to put themselves on the map around the state, certainly in the Northern State Conference, and certainly in Class 3A. So we're ready to kick it off. Here's my partner, TV 46 Sports Director Chuck Freeby with tonight's play-by-play.
Cody Klein has the ball on the tee for New Prairie, and back deep for Jimtown, the very dangerous Drew Zeiger along with Devin Emerson. Klein with a squib kick that bounces over a couple of heads, and Emerson fields it at his 18. Emerson up the middle, still on his feet up to the 43-yard line, and Jimtown with outstanding field position to begin the game tonight. Let's take a look at the Jimtown starting lineup. It's brought to you by Carl K. Memorials, and Brian Hazinski comes out at quarterback for the Jimmies. Very steady game manager, 13 of 25 on the season for 202 yards. He has been picked off 3 times and has thrown a couple of touchdown passes, including a key one in their win over John Glenn. Hazinski, a 6'5", 175-pound senior. Most of the time, he'll be turning around and handing off to one of the backs, and we'll introduce you to those after the first down play. It's Nick Lertola with the first carry of the game. He bowls forward for about 5 yards. It'll be 2nd and 5. And let's meet the rest of this Jimtown offense, sponsored by Carl K. Memorials. Up front along that offensive line, Chad Hausman had a huge game last time when we saw the Jimmies against John Glenn. Derek Brothers and Eric Forrest, a couple of big anchors on that offensive line. And in the backfield, you got John Michael Moore, the running back with Lurtola to start the game. And we told you about Drew Zeiger. He had a 64-yard touchdown catch against John Glenn. 2nd and 5 for the Jimmies. I formation, John Michael Moore, the tail of the tandem, and he gets hauled down by Travis Bledecki, the defensive end. Bledecki, who is a sprinter, and he showed his speed that time, making the stop for no gain. Let's meet that New Prairie defense. It's brought to you by the Auto Shop. You just saw Bledecki, but Luke Stanicki coming into the game as a sophomore this year, 20.5 tackles for the season. And then you take a look at those linebackers. We told you about Tendorenda, but Willis and Warner on the sides doing a great job. So Luke Stanici, the fine defensive tackle for New Prairie. Here's the pitch sweep on 3rd and 5, and John Michael Moore has himself a first down in New Prairie territory up to the 46-yard line.
Pretty good carry, gain of 7, Chuck, but a pretty good first time out for the defense of New Prairie. Made them convert on 3rd down, and again, you're looking for positives, and one thing New Prairie has to have is a confidence that they can play with this team. Then you let the breaks happen. If you get a fumble, if you get an interception, maybe a big play, you break a big play, you can play with this team. So New Prairie, a pretty good look here to start the ball game.
Craig Paul hobbles off the field for the Cougars, and he's replaced in the lineup by Scott Cutts. They'll send Zeiger in motion and pitch it to him on the sweep. Zeiger tries to get to the outside, and Bledecki will have none of it. So Travis Bledecki, the speedy defensive end, 5'10", 180 pounds, and the senior comes up and gets Drew Zeiger after a pickup of 1. Cody Van also in on the stop.
Outstanding play, Chuck, by Van, in that he was the defensive end, kept the outside shoulder clear, turned the play back in, and with Van's effort, they held it to just a 1-yard gain.
Take another look on the TCU replay, and you see Van get out in front of Brody Olson, and that freed up Bledecki to make the stop. 2nd and 9. I formation for the Jimmies. They'll give it up the middle, and it's Lurtola, the fullback, being spun down by Bledecki again. And Lurtola gets up to the 39-yard line, setting up 3rd down and short for Jimtown, and this is vintage Jimtown football. Getting themselves in 3rd down situations. For a lot of teams, they'd be passing downs. For the Jimmy, it's just another running down.
And once they get across midfield, Chuck, it's also 4-down territory a lot of times if they are out of field goal range. Now, we understand that Tyler Zufan, the regular kicker, is a little less than 100% tonight. Might even get the night off. His younger brother's a good kicker. He might get the duty.
Yeah, Zufan is not even dressed tonight, and you're right. Trey Zufan, the freshman, is the kicker. Lurtola stopped at the line of scrimmage on a beautiful play that time. Is coming in and making the stop is Luke Stanici. Stanici, a 185-pound sophomore, using his quickness off the line. It'll be 4th down, and the Jimmies, as is usual their want, will go for it. And as you take a look, Jimtown this year, this is nothing new for the Jimmies. They're 9 of 14 on 4th down conversions. They've only punted 4 times this season.
And Chuck, that's a higher percentage you pointed out this week than they have on 3rd down.
Pitch sweep out to John Michael Moore. He tries to reverse field, and this will work. John Michael Moore is going to be close to the first down, but I don't think he made it. Reese Armstrong, a senior cornerback, holds his position, comes up and makes the stop, and the Cougars have held on 4th down as you get another look on the TCU replay.
The kind of play that'll light you up and get your offense pumped up. A couple guys came in there, sold out, made the play. And John Michael Moore did a great job, by the way, just to have the opportunity to get to the first down because New Prairie played that play extremely well.
So the Cougars take over 1st and 10, and their quarterback is the junior Cody Carlisle. He's carried the ball 68 times this year for 240 yards. We'll meet the rest of the Cougar offense in a moment. It's an option attack that Marty Mawson runs. They'll hand it off up the middle for no gain as Nick Dobkins, the sophomore running back, was lucky to get maybe a yard on that. You take a look at Carlisle. More of a running quarterback than a throwing quarterback. All 3 of those TDs are on the ground, and he has thrown 4 interceptions this year. He'll have to get help from a young offensive line tonight. We'll meet them after the 2nd down play.
They call it no gain on that first down play, Chuck. And again, Dobkins, not one of the guys who gets a lot of carries, but a quality back, but trying to establish the fullback when they can.
Again, it's Dobkins. Nope, Carlisle kept it himself and got swarmed under behind the line of scrimmage. Look at the penetration by Eric Forrest and that Jimtown defensive line. They're going up against a very young offensive line tonight for New Prairie. As a matter of fact, Steve Smith, the only returning starter and the only senior in that group. And when you take a look at the backs, you've seen Dobkins once already tonight. He's a pretty good carrier. So too are George Stanko, their 6'5" receiver. He could be a factor right here on this third down play.
The big thing you don't want to do here, if you don't get the first down, you don't want to turn it over.
Carlisle rolls out looking to throw. Heaves it down the field looking deep, and he overthrew his man. He was looking for George Stanko that time, but the senior at 6'5" couldn't reach up and get that one, so it's a 3 and out for New Prairie, and Robert Tenderenda will come in to punt.
Jan's Place is a proud sponsor of Jimtown Athletics, located at 28275 County Road 20 in Elkhart. Come in before 2 p.m. on Friday, enjoy home-cooked fried fish, or come in for a true home-cooked meal 7 days per week. Just like Jimtown Athletics and the IHSAA, Jan's Place offers a smoke-free environment to promote a healthy lifestyle. Jan's Place.
Tenderenda's boot is a high hanger that'll boom down in Jimtown territory, take a bit of a cougar roll, and be down at the 34-yard line. So that's where Jimtown will take over. Punt by Tenderenda that time was about 29 yards, just a little more than his average.
And they only took about a minute and a half off the clock, Chuck, but again, no turnover, and Jimtown starting back inside of where they started the first time. First drive started at the 43.
So you take a look at Brian Hozinski, the son of longtime Jimtown assistant coach Mike Hozinski. Mike at one time was the head basketball coach at Jimtown, and he's been a fixture there since going there as a teacher after graduating from Bethel. On 1st and 10, the handoff to the tailback, and John Michael Moore stacked up at the line of scrimmage. A nice job by this New Prairie defensive line.
They mark it just maybe a gain of a half a yard as they try to unpile in there.
Craig Paul, who limped off with an injury earlier in the game, manages to come up with the stop, and you'll take another look at the TCU replay, and Bob Paul gives them some size up front, and he spun right off the block of Derek Brothers that time.
He did good penetration, doing a good job of shoving people in the gaps here against Jimtown, and then having those linebackers with the freedom to fill. And again, if that offensive line of Jimtown can get out and control the linebackers, that's when this offense gets really dangerous.
On 2nd and 10, Hozinski throws in the flat for Drew Zeiger. Zeiger dodges one tackler, and then he's off to the races. And Drew Zeiger using his outstanding speed to get a first down after a pickup of about 15 yards out to the Jimtown 47, and he is perhaps the fastest man on the field tonight.
He's been one of the quickest we've seen all season, Chuck, and that's a timing play that they are very familiar with at Jimtown. Got some contact. You got to wrap him up before he gets started. He looked like he was going to get 2 or 3, and all of a sudden it turned into 15 with about 3 strides.
So Hozinski completes his first pass of the night. And on 1st and 10, the Jimmies will keep it on the ground. Devin Emerson. And Emerson slashes through the hole, bounces off a tackler, and picks up 13 yards for another Jimtown first down. And then once again, the burst of speed by Jimtown. Emerson was the MVP of the track team last year, and he showed that sprinter speed there.
Look at Cody Carlisle showing a lot of guts here. He stands him straight up, but then Emerson's momentum gets him forward for another 3 or 4 yards. Boy, that's a tough hit. That's your quarterback back there, safety, making that kind of a hit.
Yeah, that's the danger when you have to play your quarterback both ways, but that's often the case at the 3A level. 1st and 10 in New Prairie territory at the 41. Emerson again the tail of the tandem, but we have flags, and I believe the Jimmies may have had some movement along that offensive line.
Well, they don't do that very often either, but there's a break for Jimtown. It comes on 1st down, so makes it 1st and 15. Folks, you can visit the Fit Club located on State Road 2 in South Bend, only 10 minutes east of New Carlisle. Total family fitness for life, including adult fitness classes, Zumba kickboxing, kettlebells, yoga, circuit, X-Fit, and personal training.
Which one of those are you doing?
The kettlebells.
Okay.
You get a whole box of them, put some butter on it. No. They also have children's gymnastics, cheer, dance, and taekwondo. No contract. First adult class is free. Call them at 968-7989 or visit them online at thefitclub.com.
1st and 15. They hit Emerson coming out of the backfield for a pickup of about 11 yards. So Jimtown, which rarely throws the ball on first down, but they did it 4 times last week against Knox, and they come up with a first down pass here to Emerson, who's the one guy out of the backfield that's a threat to catch it.
Another double-digit gain in this drive. That's the 3rd play out of this drive that's gained double digits for the Jimtown Jimmies.
Down to 4:19 to go in the first quarter. Hand off to the second man through. I believe that's Lurtola on the carry, and he didn't get very much, but he didn't need very much to get the first down.
He needed about 3. I think that's about what he got.
That's going to be Tanner Adams on the carry, the sophomore running back. So already Mike Campbell going deep into his bench, and he's got that younger backfield out there right now with Emerson and Adams. This is one of the things Jimtown can do and wear teams down. Now a full house backfield on 3rd and 1. And this time it is Lurtola, and this time they have the first down. Lurtola up to the 31-yard line, and the Jimmies will move the chains.
I'm impressed with this New Prairie defense. Again, they've given up some yards, but their contain is pretty good. They got an idea what's going on out there. They just need to find a way to keep the Jims away from that field goal opportunity or touchdown, obviously.
And as we mentioned, with their regular kicker out, the Jimmies may be a little more reticent to attempt a longer field goal tonight. On 1st and 10, Hosinski keeps it himself and goes around the right side, and Brian Hosinski picks up about 9 yards on the quarterback keeper. So a little bit of an option look that time for the Jimmies. And Hosinski, I know you've always been impressed with his agility, Bob.
Well, I like the way he runs, Chuck, and nobody expects him to do this very much, but when he does, we saw last year in the playoff game against Andrean, ran for a huge first down late in that ball game, helped them win the game, and he does what the coach wants him to do. If that means throw it or run it, whatever, he's trying to be effective. He picked up about 8 yards on that carry.
Timeout called by New Prairie. The timeout sponsored by LaPorte Farm Bureau Insurance. We have 2:51 to go in the first quarter. It's still scoreless in this Northern State Conference rivalry on TV 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you by TCU. The credit union you can join is Teachers Credit Union. They are happy to see us here in Rolling Prairie.
They are, and appreciate the effort of their classmates here at New Prairie. And the Jimtown fans have turned out as well. Jimtown travels as well as any team in our area, and proud of their program under Mike Campbell. What a great job he's done. How do you like to follow a legend like Bill Sharp, and then people say, how you doing? Well, he's doing just fine. We're Sharpies out there, I think, about 3 days a week.
And Mike Campbell does not mind Bill Sharp being out there at all. 27-5 so far, the record for Mike Campbell in his 3rd season at Jimtown. Jimmy's looking at a 2nd and 3 right here. They'll hand it off to the fullback, and I believe that might be Lurtola once again battling forward. Nope. Yep, that is Nick Lurtola. We got a 29 and a 28. They're not always the easiest to pick up, but it'll be 3rd and 1 here for the Jimmies.
Jetline Electric is a proud supporter of Jimtown Athletics and wishes the Jimmies well in tonight's game and throughout the rest of the season. Jetline Electric is licensed, bonded, and insured and can handle all of your electrical needs. Give them a call at 320-0985 for any electrical questions that arise. When you think of electric, think Jetline Electric.
So on 3rd and 1, it's Lurtola again, and he has the first down before Cody Van sends him down at the 20-yard line. Van, a nice open field tackle, but Lurtola, who has not had a carry for negative yardage all season, gets the first down and moves the chains for the Jimmies.
Picked up about 3 yards, Chuck. And again, when you look at those kind of carries that don't get a lot of yardage, you say, well, that wasn't a very good run, but that gives them a chance to continue this drive. That was the 9th play of this drive. And so
and the first drive was about 8 plays. And New Prairie's only had the ball for 3 plays here in the first quarter.
just over a minute and a half is all they've had it for.
John Michael Moore off the right side, dances around a couple of tacklers and picks up 4 before Travis Bledecki brings him down. Let's go downstairs for a Holy Cross College sideline report. Bo Hunt down on the sidelines. Talk about this Jimtown offensive line and the job they're doing making holes tonight.
Well, Chuck, they're getting good penetration or getting good push off the line. The thing with New Prairie, though, is they're bringing their linebackers up, so there is difficulty blocking, and that's where New Prairie is getting their penetration. But Jimtown offensive line is getting some push off the ball, Chuck.
2nd down and 6 for the Jimmies right here. Matt Hill split past the bottom of your screen. Hozinski wants to throw that way, finds Hill. He got a block from Drew Zeiger, but Hill gets bottled up right away by Cody Van and a host of Cougars. Let's see where they spot this one. It looks like it's going to be inside the 10-yard line. That would be a 1st down and a 1st and goal for New Prairie. So a 1st and goal for the Jimtown Jimmies at the New Prairie 9-yard line.
Gain of 7 yards. Again, painfully just enough for the 1st down, isn't it?
But a great block that time by Zeiger, the split end, who's had a couple of very nice blocks here in the first quarter.
3 out of 3 passing on the drive for Hozinski for 34 yards.
Waning seconds of quarter number 1. Hozinski hands it off to his tailback, and Moore dives forward for about 2 yards. No, make it Lertola on the carry, and Nick Lertola picking up a couple of yards.
Got it down to about the 7.
Lertola, very secure ball carrier, had over 1,200 yards last year on the season. And that's going to do it for the first quarter of play in a very speedy first quarter at AMC Miller Field in Rolling Prairie. The Cougars have kept the Jimmies off the board so far, but it's not going to be easy here when quarter number 2 starts on the 46th game of the week. This edition of the TV46 High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you by Elkhart General Hospital and its Center for Joint Replacement. Visit them online at egh.org. The Jimtown fans have made the trek over tonight, and so far their Jimmy's locked in a scoreless duel with New Prairie, but Jimtown knocking at the door with a 2nd and goal as we get ready to start quarter number 2. And Bo Hunt, your analysis of this first quarter of play.
Well, I think a lot of people coming into this game thought that, Jimtown was going to have an easy game coming in here. They were going to come out and, have a couple scores in the first quarter, maybe the second quarter. New Prairie, they came to play. Like we talked in the intro, you talked in the intro, Chuck, they've played some really good teams, 3 ranked teams so far. And you know what? It shows out there. They have some heart. They're out there. They're used to playing some tough teams like this Jimtown Jimmy team, Chuck.
2nd and goal from the 8-yard line. Lazinski had a full house backfield. Now he'll split 2 receivers out. And Hozinski looking to the end zone. Touchdown. That's too easy. Brody Olson, the tight end, was all alone. The touchdown sponsored by Jetline Electric. The 3rd touchdown pass of the year for Brian Hozinski and his first to the tight end, Brody Olson. A well-designed play for the Jimmies.
And quite a drive.
Trey Zufan, a freshman, the younger brother of Tyler Zufan, on to try the extra point, and the kick is up and it is good. So with 11:56 to go in the first half, the second-ranked team in the Class 3A of the state of Indiana has hit the scoreboard. Jimtown leads New Prairie 7-0 on the 46th game of the week. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you by the Heat and Frost Insulators of Local 75. They're saving you money and energy today for a greener tomorrow.
Chuck recapping the scoring drive for Jimtown. They go 68 yards in 13 plays, picked up 5 first downs along the way, ran 6 minutes and 38 seconds off the clock, and they score 4 seconds into the second quarter, 7-0 on the touchdown pass by Hozinski. Chuck, pretty efficient effort in that first quarter. Jimtown had possession of 10-24, and New Prairie 136. The Cougars ran just 3 plays, but they're going to get their hands on the football here, down 7-0.
Trey Zufan, a freshman, will do the kickoff duties. Dennis Williamson back deep. And Zufan with a high spinning kick. It'll be fielded by Cody Van. And Van swarmed under at the 22-yard line, so a good job by the Jimmy special teams. And we haven't had a chance yet to meet the Jimtown defense, so let's do that now. This defense sponsored by Carl K. Memorials. And for that Jimmy defensive line, it's about as good as any in the area. All 4 of those guys could make a bid for all conference honors. And the linebacker's not too shabby either. They've got a sophomore in there and Tanner Adams, along with the seniors Hill and Rortola. You'll meet Hill at halftime. Defensive backfield hasn't been tested as much so far this year because of the dominance up front. But you've got 3 seniors back there, including Colin Kroom, the cornerback, who has 2 interceptions.
Play clock already down to 14 seconds before the Cougars get on the field, but they go right to their set. So this is something that Marty Mawson has by design, and he doesn't want to give away any tip to Jimtown on how they're going to be set up.
Cody Carlisle got the snap off just in time, and Carlisle keeps it and bobs forward for about 7 yards. So a nice run by Carlisle, a 400-meter runner on the track team and also a member of the basketball squad.
Speaking of Carlisle, the Auto Shop in New Carlisle wishes the Cougars the best of luck tonight and all season. The Auto Shop reminds you that winter's on the way and your car needs to be ready. The Auto Shop can handle all engine work as well as brakes and front-end alignment. The Auto Shop is located just west of downtown New Carlisle on County Line Road. Stop by between 8 or 5 or call for an appointment. Keep this number handy. It's 303-9315. Steve and the crew are ready to keep you moving in the right direction. The Auto Shop at New Carlisle.
And Steve's son Cody just carried the ball for a couple more yards here to set up a 3rd and 2. John Michael Moore in on the stop that time. Very important here for New Prairie to get a first down and move the chains a little bit. Keep that defense off the field if they can do it. As you take a look at 3rd-year coach Marty Mawson, defensive coordinator when Bart Curtis was here. Marty 12-14 in his stint as head coach here, but he's been at New Prairie a long time, 14 years as an assistant.
I said, who made up that schedule for you? He said, that's the way we want it here.
On 3rd and 2, they give it off and no go. As making the stop in there was Derek Brothers along with Eric Forrest, and they were all over Justin Dutcher, the senior fullback. So another 3 and out for New Prairie, and Robert Tendorenda has to come on to punt again. So New Prairie has had the ball for all of 6 plays in the first 14 minutes of this game.
It's a factor, and again, when that first quarter score cleared the wires around the state, people said, hey, they're playing with them, and they are, but they got to get something going offensively. Only their 2nd series of the game.
Tendorenda handles a low snap and hands a high punt. Matt Hill calls for the fair catch and makes it back at his 38-yard line.
27 yards on the punt, no return.
What can you tell us about our friends at Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance?
Well, Chuck, for all your insurance needs, you can call the LaPorte, Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agency. They're the top-ranked agency in the state of Indiana with everything from auto, home, life, and more. Give them a call for a quick quote. They're located at 1104 Boyd Street in LaPorte. Give them a call at 219-326-6624 today. The LaPorte, Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agency is a proud supporter of New Prairie football. I'd like to wish them good luck in tonight's game.
So again, good field position for Jimtown. They have a 1st and 10 at their own 39-yard line. Drew Zeiger in motion, but the handoff to Nick Lertola, the fullback, gets about 3 yards before he's stonewalled there. And another carry by the Jimmies reminds us of tonight's Heat and Frost Insulators, what's hot and what's cold. And what's been hot this year is the Jimtown running game. They've been able to run for 255 yards per game, and you would think they would be doing it again here tonight because what's been cold is New Prairie's rushing defense. They've been gashed for 247 yards per game, albeit they've been playing against much bigger squads in Chesterton and LaPorte.
Lertola now on 7 carries, 20 yards on the night. So their yardage coming tough against this New Prairie defense.
2nd and 8. And again, another handoff up the middle, and that's Lertola again diving forward to the 44. So it's a 3rd and 5. And boy, this is a pivotal situation right here for the Cougars.
We'd like to thank Bruno's Pizza on Michigan Street, New Carlisle, for feeding our production crew tonight. For 35 years, Bruno's Pizza has provided the area with the best pizza in town. From 6 to 7 daily, get a 14-inch pizza for only $10. Bruno's is also proud to donate pizza to the Prep Player of the Week and the officials for tonight's game. Stop in or give Bruno's Pizza a call, 654-3170 today, or visit them online at brunospizza.com to take advantage of their special deals. And wouldn't a Bruno's Pizza be good to watch the Notre Dame-Michigan State game on Saturday night?
Devin Emerson catches the ball out of the backfield and manages to get into New Prairie territory for a 1st down up to the 48, maybe the 49-yard line. Interesting formation that time by the Jimmies, Bob, as they ran trips, and that's something you rarely see out of Jimtown.
A little bit different look, but a 7-yard gain as Hozinski continues his perfect night. He's 4 out of 4 for 41 yards.
And again, the blocking by the wide receivers that time really helping spring the play for Jimtown. 1st and 10. There's Lertola again. And Nick Lertola able to get about 3 yards that time. And that's about all there's been for Nick tonight.
Hozinski updating him. He's 5 out of 5 for 49 yards. They had failed to credit him for the touchdown pass that gave Jimtown their 7-0 lead, but he's been very efficient, Chuck. They don't ask him to do great things, but he's very steady, and he had a nice run in that 1st quarter as well.
Oh, he's been a star of this game so far for the Jimmies, who have seen their running game a little bit stagnant here tonight. They'll try to get something going with Emerson. He had a nice run in the 1st quarter, but not tonight, not on this one. Cody Van in there to wrap him up, and he had plenty of help that time. As coming in and making the stop was Luke Stanici, the sophomore defensive tackle.
Doing a good job of fending off the blocker there. Look at Carlisle squaring up again. There's Stanici to help. That's good team defense.
So for the 2nd straight series, Jimtown looking at a 3rd and 5 here. The last time they went to the air and hit Emerson out in the flat. We'll see what Brian Hozinski is able to do here. He has Levi Welch out here to the bottom of the screen along with Drew Zeiger. From the I formation, Hozinski looks to throw under pressure, hits Zeiger, and he's got the 1st down. So Drew Zeiger makes another fine catch up to the 37-yard line, and Brian Hozinski with some pinpoint precision throwing the ball tonight.
And Chuck, he took a shot that time as the defense was all around him. He gets the 1st down. He has 56 yards passing on 6 out of 6, but good defense again by New Carlisle.
Jacob Willis was coming on the blitz that time for New Prairie, and he put the hit on Hozinski. Now a pitch sweep. John Michael Moore trying to get outside, cut it back to the inside, and met by a host of Cougar defenders after a pickup of 2. So Marty Mawson's defense is really doing a nice job here in the 1st half.
They certainly are, and acting like they've done their homework, Chuck, and they worked very hard this week. Want to remind folks that Carl K. Memorial supports the Jimtown Jimmies and wishes them the best for the team. And their grandson, number 53, Derek Brothers. Carl and Michaeline Kay know the importance of family and have been helping Michiana families design appropriate memorials for their loved ones for over 50 years. Carl K. Memorials, a locally owned family business you can trust.
Here's Hazinski trying to go deep, lobs it up there. It's batted away and incomplete. Reese Armstrong did a beautiful job covering Matt Hill on that one, and Armstrong nearly had himself the interception.
Carroll K. Memorials reminds you can call them at 291-6041 or visit them at 4105 South Michigan Street in South Bend. Carroll K. Memorials supporting the Jimtown Jimmies. Boy, that's good defense, isn't it, partner?
Well, and actually it was Hill that played a lot of the defense there to try to break up the interception from Armstrong. So 3rd down and 7 here for the Jimmies, and we've got a whistle and a timeout called by New Prairie. This is their second of the first half. The timeout sponsored by LaPorte Farm Bureau Insurance with 6:16 to go in the first half.
Jetline Electric is licensed, bonded, and insured for all of your electrical needs. Give them a call at 320-0985. Jetline Electric is a proud supporter of Jimtown Athletics and wishes them well in tonight's game and throughout the season.
And now let's take a look at this week's Quality Glass Look Back.
The all-time winningest coach in New Prairie football history is Bart Curtis, who handled the duties for 11 years from 1997 through 2007. Curtis teams won 84 of their 122 games, including 2 Northern State titles, 2 sectional championships, and a regional championship in 2006. Bart Curtis moved on to Mishawaka High School, but left a terrific legacy at New Prairie. An Indiana Football Hall of Famer, Bart Curtis, this week's Look Back, brought to you by Quality Glass.
And he is still very fondly remembered here at New Prairie.
He certainly is. Chuck, heard his name mentioned a number of times when we were out there this week watching practice, and they learned how to play tough football out here at New Prairie, and they're doing that tonight. Again, a lot of unproven players, and I say unproven, you're in the 5th game of the season, so your sophomores should start to act like juniors, but a lot of guys are starting for the first time this year, and well, I'll tell you what, their defense has had a good show here tonight.
3rd and 7 for the Jimmies. Hazinski looks to throw again. Fires out in the flat. This one's too short. The pressure got to him as George Stanko was coming in hard. It'll be 4th down, and I believe Mike Campbell will go for it here at the New Prairie 34. He's got nothing to lose.
Well, we talked about their stat sheet, Chuck. They're averaging almost 40 yards a punt. We said they should punt more often, but they've only punted, I think, 4 times all season. So even if they don't get the first down here, they feel pretty good about their defense's chance to stop New Prairie. But this would be huge for New Prairie to be down 7-0 with the football with 6 minutes to go in the first half. Terrific effort here in the first half.
Meanwhile, the play clock is ticking down on Jimtown, and Mike Campbell will use a timeout here, and it's sponsored by our friends at Jan's Place. 6:11 to go in the first half. Jimtown working on a 7-0 lead, facing a big 4th down when we come back on TV 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week brought to you by the electrical workers of Local 153. They're helping make our communities brighter. Well, they are all fired up here at New Prairie High School tonight. Their Cougars hoping to upset second-ranked Jimtown and trailing 7-0, but the Jimmies have it. 4th down and 7 yards to go at the Cougar 34. Brian Hazinski, the quarterback, rolls right, looking down the field, throws for Zeiger, and it is, no, Matt Hill with the catch at the 22-yard line. And he'll move the chains on a great 4th down catch by Matt Hill.
Gain of 12 yards on the play. They needed 8. Good throw. 7 out of 9 now for 68 yards for Hazinski. Good defense. Boy, I tell you what, your cover guy was right there, Chuck, and a good reception there by Jimtown.
Andrew Saylor just about a half step slow that time on the move. So it's 1st and 10 at the 22. Osinski hands off to Lurtola. The fullback rumbling to the end zone. Touchdown, Jimtown. A 22-yard jaunt to pay dirt for Nick Lurtola, his 7th touchdown of the season. And the Jimmies are on the board again. The touchdown sponsored by Jetline Electric. And I guess it's only natural after that 4th down play to have a little bit of a letdown.
Really tough situation there for New Prairie. They've been doing a good job taking away the sweeps, and that time the trap was open right up the middle.
Trey Zufan on for the extra point. It is up and it is good. 5:33 to go in the first half, and Jimtown leading it 14-0.
Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Imagineering Finishing Technologies, the industry knowledge source for metal finishing solutions. IFT can help you provide you with coatings, lubricants, testing, and consulting to handle your metal finishing needs. Call them at 800-207-2516 to put the IFT teams to work for you. We're proud of the performance and our standards and our customers, with Imagineering quality as a way of life. The team from Imagineering Finishing Technologies salutes the teams in tonight's game and are proud of their efforts.
While playing from behind is nothing new for this Cougar ball club this year. They have not scored a point in the first quarter this season. And indeed, they're behind tonight 14-0. Last week against Culver, they fell behind 21-0. Came back to make it a 21-14 game in the 3rd quarter, and then things just fell apart. We'll see if New Prairie can get some offense generated here. They have only had the ball for 6 offensive plays so far in the first half.
The last scoring drive for Jimtown, 61 yards on 11 plays. And they picked up 4 first downs along the way in that one.
So a 14-0 Jimtown lead as Trey Zufan gets ready to kick off. Last time he hit a spinner and kind of placed it in there, and he'll do the same this time. And it's hauled in by Justin Dutcher, and Dutcher returns the ball up to the 32-yard line before he's upended there. Casey Adams in on the stop along with Levi Welch.
3 minutes and 26 seconds total control time for New Prairie in this first half. Just 3:26. But they've got 5:28 to do something about the score, down 14-0.
So offensive coordinator Josh Bolakowski gets his quarterback Cody Carlisle a little pat on the shoulder as he goes out there. And let's see what the Cougars can do here with decent field position. Dutcher gets the play from Carlisle. 10 seconds left on the play clock. And Carlisle gives it off to Dutcher, and the reserve fullback moves forward for about 4 yards on first down. Justin Dutcher, the second leading ball carrier on this team, even though he's not in the starting lineup, a little bit like Devin Emerson from Jimtown.
Folks, what will you experience in the next 4 years? Choose Holy Cross College and experience a faculty that knows you personally, a Catholic faith-inspired curriculum that helps you discover your personal best, and a small college community within a large university campus. That's Holy Cross College, because experience matters.
So New Prairie looking at 2nd and 6. And Carlisle on the option, pitches out to Andrew Saylor, but Saylor can't get around everybody, and he finally gets knocked down at the 35-yard line for a loss of 1. So Saylor, a senior tailback, gets his first carry of the night.
Trying to find a spark.
And New Prairie looking at its third down of the night. They haven't been able to convert one yet. It's 3rd and 7. Carlisle has not attempted a pass yet. Well, yes, he did attempt one back on the first possession. I apologize. Yep. He has Dan Kessling split to his left. Carlisle keeps it himself on the option, And he's brought down after a pickup of 3 yards. And once again, they're short, but there's a flag on the play.
So it's thrown kind of in behind the play. It looked like it might be a hold or see what the call is. I think they're going to be talking to Jimtown.
It is indeed against New Prairie. Derek Brothers, the defensive captain, goes over there, and I'm sure the Jimmies will wave this off. So the hold against New Prairie is declined. Again, it's 4th down, and it's punting time once again for the Cougars. And it was Brothers in on the stop that time for Jimtown. So New Prairie, 3 and outs.
We've seen teams have just 3 possessions and a half in our high school broadcast, but I think we've had them limited to just 9 plays.
Tenderenda with the punt again, gets it over the outstretched arms of Eric Forrest, and a fair catch is called for back at the 30-yard line with 3:37 to go in the half.
32 yards on that punt with no return, so solid effort by New Prairie in a lot of areas tonight, but Marty Moss is going to have to go in that locker room and figure out what they can do offensively to get a chance to get on that board. They will get the ball to start the second half. I want to ask you folks if you know about Meijer. They're proud to be a part of the community and support local high school sports. Meijer provides shoppers with the convenience of 24-hour stores while maintaining a commitment to customer service and satisfaction. Visit any one of Meijer's 7 area locations for all your grocery, retail, and pharmacy needs. Meijer, higher standards, lower prices.
Rick Zeef and the Meijer people do a great job in our area. 1st and 10 for the Jimmies at their own 31-yard line, nursing a 14-0 lead. Osinski looking to throw again. Now decides to run up the field, got a block, and goes down at about the 40-yard line. He's short of the first down by about a yard, and he stayed in bounds.
Yeah, talk about how much I enjoy watching this young man run, but Chuck, it still scares you a little bit when your quarterback's running out there in the open field.
Mike Warner came over from his linebacker slot to make the tackle, as you see on the TC replay. Warner, a 3-sport athlete here at New Prairie, a wrestler and a shot putter. As you get a good look at Mike Campbell, a former Jimtown player, coached at Wawasee and Jimtown. He and his wife Amy have 3 kids that live there in the Balgo area. 2nd and 1 for Jimtown. Osinski pumps, looking to go deep to Zeiger. It's up there and it's intercepted. Picked off. That's Dennis Williamson with the return. And New Prairie has the ball in Jimtown territory for the first time tonight.
Williamson had a little bit of time to come back. The ball floated a bit. Nice job by Williamson. Gives his ball club their best field position of the evening. And look at the timing right there. Just took it away from Zeiger, who, by the way, if he had caught it, was probably going to be gone.
Well, that was definitely a do-or-die play by Williamson, and he was able to make it. And now we'll see if New Prairie can take some new life here. They've got the ball at the Jimtown 47. 2 minutes and 37 seconds to go here in the first half, and they do have 1 timeout remaining. But remember, New Prairie has not even managed a first down tonight.
And Chuck, we talked in our pregame keys to win about how turnovers are probably the only thing that could stall this Jimtown team, and New Prairie got a big one right there.
Nice effort that time by Justin Dutcher, the fullback, and he manages to squeeze forward for 4 yards.
Tackle by number 53, Derek Runners.
Dutcher, who spends a lot of time in that film room preparing for these games and using the second effort that time.
Pretty good surge that time. Pick up a 4 yards for Dutcher.
As we told you at the top, this is a very young New Prairie offensive line. Steve Smith, the right guard, really the only experienced player out there from a year ago. Carlisle gives it to the second man through, Andrew Saylor, and Saylor is close to the first down, but I don't think he quite made it. It'll be 3rd down.
First Federal Savings Bank has specialized in mortgage lending and local loan servicing since 1966. Locally owned First Federal Savings Bank is an equal housing lender and a proud sponsor of the high school game of the week and all these terrific athletes.
That midline option for New Prairie, oftentimes it's tough to see who has the ball, but the problem here for the Cougars, they're chewing a lot of time off the clock. And they don't have a very strong field goal kicker. Right now, they just got to worry about making the first down for the first time tonight. And it's Carlisle on the keeper, and he's got the first down. So Cody Carlisle up to the 33-yard line.
Gain of 5 yards on the play for Carlisle. He's now the leading ball carrier in the first half with 11 yards on 5 carries.
And the key here for New Prairie is not turning the football over either, because he got stunned pretty well.
Well, he got rocked right there.
New Prairie has now matched Knox's total for the game last week. 1 first down. Here's a handoff up the middle, and the tackle made after a pickup of 2 as Eric Forrest lands that big body on top of Justin Dutcher. And we've got a timeout taken by New Prairie with 45.7 seconds left. And yes, you heard me right. 1st and 10, do it again. That's the battle cry for any Jimtown opponent, because last week, Knox, a 3A team just like New Prairie, had 1 first down.
Well, I'll tell you what, the defense for the Jimtown Jimmies has been solid, and they were put in a tough position here after the turnover, but 45 seconds away from getting out into the locker room with a shutout here in the first half. I want to remind you that at TCU, they help their members reach their financial goals with services like checking, savings, loans, travel, and much more. Visit tcunet.com to get started today. TCU.
Remember, this is a Jimtown defense that has only given up 3 points all season. And Bo Hunt, I want your opinion right now for a Holy Cross College sideline report. What is it that makes this Jimtown defense so good?
Chuck, I think one of the main things is that just their discipline out there. They know what their job is, and they don't try to compensate and go do somebody else's job. They stick with what their job is. They stick where their territory is, where their gap is, and they stay there, and they do their job, what they're supposed to do. That's why the defense, and they're very aggressive too, Chuck.
We'll see if they come after Carlisle here as he drops back to throw. The junior in trouble, eludes trouble, and gets out of bounds close to the chains. And a late flag comes in from behind the play from the referee.
Yeah, they could have just shoved him out of bounds. He was going out of bounds anyway, and he got hammered by one of the Jimmies over there. Tough kid, took the hit. And again, if you, with 36 seconds to go, if you get a half the distance here from the 30 down to the 15.
Look at this speedy burst by Carlisle as he gets away from 3 Jimmies. And then Corey Hill missed him. And finally, he really got racked by John Michael Moore after he went out of bounds. And so that'll be half the distance, a first down by penalty. And it takes New Prairie all the way down to the Jimtown 13-yard line. Now that's within the range of their field goal kicker, Cody Klein.
It's going to be 13 yards net on the penalty after the 6-yard gain by Carlisle.
Carlisle has his team huddled right now 25 yards away from the line of scrimmage. They'll have to do a wind sprint just to get up to the line of scrimmage with 10 seconds left on the play clock.
Well, over here at New Carlisle, Chuck, they like cross-country running, don't they?
Oh, they'll have a big tournament tomorrow we'll talk about in the second half. Carlisle looking to throw. Here comes Derek Brothers, and he almost got him. Jimtown wants the intentional grounding, and I think they may have gotten the call.
And they did. And really the confusion leading up to the play, Chuck, kind of added to it. Carlisle was winded, I think, by the time he got to the center.
I've never seen a team line up that far from the line of scrimmage before.
First penalty of the night against New Prairie will be a loss and down. And a 10-yard penalty, so it's going to take it back out to about the 23-yard line.
Well, that would take them out of field goal range. So they've got to pick up some yards here just to get into a position to put 3 on the board. Brothers came unfettered from his defensive tackle position. Carlisle wanted to get rid of it. The problem was there wasn't anybody out there in blue.
You got it. Hey, coming up at halftime, we have our Student Athletes of the Week brought to you by the Electrical Workers. Remind you they help make our communities brighter for the electrical workers of Local 153. It's more than just wiring lights. It's apprenticeship programs to ensure that you get trained, efficient workers for your residential, commercial, or voice data video project. It's donating time in our communities to help those less fortunate, and it's supporting local events like the one you're enjoying now. That's how the electrical workers of Local 153 help make our communities brighter.
Carlisle's pass bangs off a couple of hands. It's incomplete, but there's another flag on the play, and I think New Prairie had all kinds of confusion going into that play. We'll see who this penalty is.
This has been their best chance to get going. It's going to be illegal procedure against New Prairie, but on the incomplete pass, they may. Well, they probably got to move them back anyway. One thing you don't want to give up is yardage at this point. Time is probably not as important.
There's only 25.1 seconds left. And again, Brothers so close to getting the sack, and then the ball tipping off the hands of Stanko and almost intercepted by Colin Kroom.
Well, they declined the penalty, so it goes as an incomplete pass.
So 3rd down and long here for New Prairie.
Cougars have yet to complete a pass, and again, check to get 20 yards to come up to the huddle that time.
Carlisle will look to throw again. Has a little more time this time and hits his man Dutcher, who got rocked. John Michael Moore absolutely levels Justin Dutcher.
Chuck, because of the process, that's an incomplete pass. We don't have a process in high school football, thank goodness, but people still talk about what happened with the Lions and Bears last weekend, but that was a shot by John Michael Moore, and that one was inbounds, so that's the kind of hit he delivered on the sidelines a minute ago.
Cody Klein is going to come out and try what would be a 41-yard field goal. There's a little bit of a breeze, but not much. Klein, a Lou Groza-like straight-on kicker. The snap is good, the kick is on its way, and it is well short.
Not all that bad, though. You know, it got past the base of the upright. He didn't have a chance to make it, but with 13 seconds to go, they wanted to try to convert after the turnover. A little bit of confidence for New Prairie on that drive. Again, they didn't get in the end zone, but some positives to work on at halftime.
So the Jimmies have now played 18 quarters of football, and they've given up 3, kind of Mordecai Brown finger 3 points.
That it's not good.
It's great for Jimtown. It's not too good for the opponents. So Brian Hozinski will probably come out and just take a knee here, and the Jimmies will go off at halftime with a 14-0 lead and have to feel pretty good about things because their defense has been in complete control of this one. Let's go downstairs for a Holy Cross College sideline report. Down in that morass, Bo Hunt's going to find himself Mike Campbell, the Jimtown head coach. And Bo's still looking for him. So we'll tell you, as the Jimmies go off to the locker room, it's 14-0 Jimtown at halftime. Now we can send it downstairs for a Holy Cross College sideline report. Here's Bo Hunt.
Coach, defense was the key to you guys on that first half there. You had 3 stops, 3 and outs, and then after the interception, you guys were able to hold them there with not even any points on the board.
Yeah, again, our front seven is doing a tremendous job getting pressure, and our D-backs did a good job of hitting the receivers when they're going to catch the ball. On offense, they're giving us trouble between the tackles. I think they're staying a little lower than we are, so we got to make sure that we try to, try to get outside a little bit, maybe to open up the middle. So we'll see in the second half here.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Back to you guys. Thanks.
I've got some lozenges for him, Bo, if he needs them. That's Mike Campbell, the Jimtown head coach. He doesn't have a whole lot to be choked up about. His team looking very impressive. Ranked number 2 in Class 3A, leading 14-0. Don't go anywhere. We've got terrific halftime features coming up, including our Student Athletes of the Week and halftime highlights. It all comes your way next on the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week.
Welcome back to AMC Miller Field. At halftime, we get a chance to honor our Student Athletes of the Week, and we've got a couple of outstanding members we're going to visit with. Our feature brought to you by the electrical workers of Local 153. They're making your world brighter. And with us tonight, Corey Hill from the Jimtown Jimmies. Corey, congratulations on your award.
Thank you, sir.
Talk about what it takes to get this thing done. You've been a tremendous worker with football and with track, but also getting it done in the classroom with high aspirations academically.
I try to do everything in the classroom just like I do it on the field. I try to use all my time that the teachers give me that I have after school.
Well, you got a good team at home, too. Parents are looking out for you, and the administration in Jimtown, it's a great team to have behind you.
Yeah, my parents try to push me really hard, both on the field and in the classroom.
Talking about maybe continue your education in the business field somewhere, one of the great business schools in the country.
Yes, I do. I don't know what college I want to go to yet. That's undecided, but I do want to study business.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Congratulations on your great effort at Jimtown and your great career at Jimtown. You've been a terrific leader on that team, and congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I want to thank all my coaches and all my teachers and my parents at home.
All right, appreciate it. Hang on a second, Corey. We got to talk about your counterpart, Caitlin Smith, who's the Student Athlete of the Week from New Prairie High School. Now, Caitlin's very busy. They've got the biggest cross-country meet in the state coming up tomorrow, so she's been very busy. She helps with the cross-country team, also with the track team, and she keeps stats for the basketball team as well. Caitlin Smith is looking forward to a career that would go on to also study business, maybe at Harvard. That's her choice. Her grade point average is over a 4 point. So Caitlin Smith is our other winner. Come on in here, Caitlin. Here you go. I know you've been busy. Congratulations, you've been busy. We've been talking about this big track cross-country meet coming up tomorrow, and
yes.
You've been helping your dad and everybody get ready.
Absolutely, yeah. We put in so many hours this week. Just today we're working on packets and chips and everything.
I know you also talked to your mom. She's pretty proud. Her buttons were busting. Talk about you maybe going to Harvard.
Yeah, Harvard or Yale is my dream. If not, somewhere around here, maybe Valpo.
Well, that'd be terrific, and I tell you what, the work you put in has made it all the choices available. And when you take care of business in the classroom, you really have all the choices, don't you?
Yeah, that's really why I worked so hard, just because I want to do well, and I'd really love to become a lawyer. So I think Harvard or Yale would be a great step to that.
Well, it certainly would be, and I want your business card when you get out of there. Law school at Harvard or Yale, that'd be great. Congratulations to you, Caitlin.
Thank you so much.
All right, Caitlin Smith from New Prairie and Corey Hill from Jimtown, our Student Athletes of the Week, brought to you by the electrical workers of Local 153. They're making your world brighter. We'll take a break and come back with some halftime stats and highlights in a moment. You're watching the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week.
The TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you in part by First Federal Savings Bank, your mortgage loan experts with totally free checking. Well, we've had flaming batons. We've had a very entertaining halftime show and a very entertaining first half if you're a Jimtown Jimmy fan, because the team ranked number 2 in the state of Indiana leads New Prairie by a count of 14-0 here at the intermission. Chuck Freeby, Bob Nagel, and Bo Hunt back with you at AMC Miller Field. The halftime sponsored by the Fit Club, and certainly fit is a way to describe this Jimtown defense right now. In fact, they look very fit and powerful.
Yeah, they did a good job after the turnover late in the half, Chuck, to keep New Prairie from getting on the scoreboard. Again, gave up a couple of yards here and there that New Prairie may get some confidence off of, but for the most part, big plays. They did a good job as we expected. The first 3 times New Prairie touched the ball 3 and out. They used to call those strikeouts back in the day, and they had a perfect game going until after the turnover. But we expected their defense to be that tough, and you got to give them credit for being ready. Their offense did a good job. The 1 turnover problem, but a Jimtown typical first half. They dominated in time of possession and in yardage, and they're up 14-0.
Well, let's look at how it got to be this way, because in the first half, New Prairie's defense was able to give Jimtown fits between the tackles, making a key 4th down stop here, but then the passing game got going. Devin Emerson, a catch out of the backfield, and Jimtown caps a drive with a pass to the tight end, Brody Olson, 7-0. On a key 4th down, they complete a pass to Matt Hill. Very next play, they popped Nick Lertola through for a 22-yard touchdown. 14-0 Jimtown. They were looking to add to it, but Dennis Williamson comes up with an interception. It would set up New Prairie's only threat, but the Cougars miss a field goal late in the first half, and they trail 14-0. And this is one case where stats don't lie.
No, they don't, Chuck. And when you look at the New Prairie Cougars, no passing yards. They're 0 for 3 in the first half. 1 nearer completion before the tackle by John Michael Moore. 31 total yards, just 2 first downs. Time of possession, 7:34. You look over Jimtown, 14 points. They had 95 yards rushing, 68 yards passing. And Hozinski hit his first 6 passes in the game, and then from that point on, he was 1 out of 4, but it was for a touchdown, and he also had the interception in that stretch. So 163 total yards. They're on pace for over 300 yards. This is what they do. They had 10 first downs and just that 1 turnover. Time of possession, 16 minutes and 23 seconds. You wonder why they use 6 or 7 backs? Well, they possess the ball quite a bit.
Our halftime report is sponsored by the Fit Club. And if New Prairie wants to get back in shape in this game, they've got to do something with the ball when they get it with the second half kickoff. And you'll see that coming up next. You're watching the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week.
You don't stop the Indians now.
Now that you question their heritage and all that.
This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you by Hoosier Trophy, not just trophies. Alongside Bob Nagel and Bo Hunt, Chuck Freeby with you from brightly lit MZ Miller Field in New Carlisle. Let's go downstairs for a Holy Cross College sideline report. Bo Hunt, what did Marty Mawson have to say at halftime?
Well, I talked to Marty, and one of the main things he talked about was offense. You know, he said he was really happy with their defense. He thought, you know, he shut them down the way they thought they were going to. He just wasn't happy with the offense. They're going to make a few tweaks to the option, run a few different sets off of it, and hopefully that works, and maybe they can put some points on the board and get back in this game. Chuck?
Well, they flat out have to. I mean, they just did not move the ball very much at all. They got a couple of first downs after the interception, got down as deep as the Jimtown 12, but then the intentional grounding penalty really self-destructive.
It did, Chuck. You know, going into the game, I thought one of the keys, we've talked about this at other games, but it's important to believe that you can win. I think it was important for New Prairie to believe that they could play with Jimtown, and now they know that. They've had a pretty solid first half. They did some good things defensively, got a couple of stops, got the interception, had a couple of first downs in the first half. I think that part of it's over. Now you got to find a way to make some plays, have some guys step up. They've got some people who can do it. We'll see what happens here with the second half kickoff. My partner, Chuck Freeby.
Trey Zufan's high kick is bouncing around, and Andrew Saylor lands on it at the 26, and then he just got drilled laying there on the ground, and there's the flag against Jimtown. In high school football, unlike the NFL, once you're down on the ball, you're down, and there really wasn't any need to make contact. Saylor's down on it right there, and then he just got leveled by Colin Kroom and Devin Emerson. Take the pick.
Yeah, a little bit aggressive tonight, a couple of cases for Jimtown, but they certainly want to send a message, I guess. While we have a walk-off, we'll tell you the Heat and Frost Insulators at Local 75 offer the proper education and training on the job and in the classroom to help further your mechanical insulation skills. Their quality craftsmanship will help you save money while making your energy costs more effective and efficient. The Insulators of Local 75, a proud sponsor of the TV 46 Game of the Week, are helping you save money and energy today for a greener tomorrow.
15-yard penalty moves the ball up to the 41-yard line, and that's where Cody Carlisle and this New Prairie offense will take it 1st and 10. So a good break for the Cougars there to start the second half. Man in motion is Dobkins. Carlisle keeps it on the option wide to pitch, but Brody Olson didn't really give him any choice. Carlisle had to hang on to the ball for dear life after picking up a yard.
Carlisle with 17 yards on 7 carries tonight. The leading ball carrier for New Prairie in the first half, Dutcher, had 10 yards. They did not complete a pass. See what the Cougars have come up with at halftime.
So New Prairie looking at 2nd and 9 here. Trailing 14-0 to begin the third quarter. Again, Dobkins in motion. This time they give it to the fullback. Ball pops loose, and who's got it? Mad scramble down there at the 46-yard line. And some words being exchanged between one of the New Prairie linemen and Drew Zeiger, but it looks like New Prairie came away with the ball.
Should be possibly, Chuck, their second biggest gain of the night.
It's Brian Jabar that falls on the loose ball as you take another look. Carlisle and Dutcher never really got the handoff in there cleanly.
Goes as a 4-yard gain for the Cougars. Third down 5 is certainly workable.
See what they go with here. Saylor in motion. And it's Saylor, or is it Carlisle with the ball? It pops loose again. I think Jimtown has it this time. Yeah, they do. Eric Forrest has the ball. Now the question is, yep, it's Jimtown ball.
And a tough break for Saylor. Couldn't hang on to it. Second man through has it right there. Never really got it again. Had the inside elbow down, Chuck. Fundamentals, inside elbow's got to be up. It drags the ball right out of the quarterback's hands.
And then Eric Forrest with that big, wide, 285-pound body just gets in there and pries the ball away from everybody.
Well, that evens up the turnover battle at 1 apiece. And gives the Jimtown Jimmies good field position.
1st and 10 at the New Prairie 49. They'll give it to Nick Lurtola, the fullback, and he dives forward for 3 yards. And once again, he's wrapped up. Luke Stanici comes through and makes another stop from that defensive tackle position. Stanici, a sophomore, but he leads that defensive line in tackles.
Jan's Place is a proud sponsor of Jimtown Athletics, located at 28275 County Road 20 in Elkhart. Come in before 2 p.m. on Friday, enjoy home-cooked fried fish, or come in for a true home-cooked meal 7 days a week. Just like Jimtown Athletics and the IHSAA, Jan's Place offers a smoke-free environment to promote a healthy lifestyle.
Hosinski threw one out in the flat to Brody Olson, and then Olson manages to rumble forward for a couple of yards. It was Olson who caught the first touchdown pass of the night for Jimtown. So it'll be 3rd down and about 5 yards to go for the Jimmies here at the New Prairie 43.
8 of 11 now for Hosinski.
Brian Hosinski, senior quarterback, 2nd year as a starter. Really had to fight to get that starting job last year. But since taking it, has guided Jimtown to 1 semi-state, and they're hoping to go even further this year. Handoff up the middle and a 1st down for Nick Lurtola. That sturdy fullback goes forward again up to the 36.
And a gain of 7 yards on the play and the 1st down.
Lurtola, also an outstanding player on the baseball team. He's an outfielder and a pitcher for the Jimmies. And he doesn't hit a bunch of home runs on this team, but just a steady pop every time.
And he got a couple extra yards on the second effort again as he gets it down to the 36-yard line. 52 yards on 11 carries for Lurtola tonight. Working hard for the yardage tonight.
Hosinski on the option. Keeps it himself, and George Stainco greets him at the 40.
And Sun go down.
Stainco, honor roll student and a member of the basketball team, and he comes through with a very intelligent play right here up at the 39.
Loss of about 4 yards on the play. It doesn't really go as a sack because it was a running play. But Hosinski, you know, we talk, Chuck, sometimes about the value of an incomplete pass. You got to talk about the value of going down. I remember a guy named Jimmy Clausen tried to fight through a oncoming tackle one time and cost him a severe toe injury. They got you. You're the quarterback. You got to get back up and play the next play.
2nd and 13. Hosinski in trouble again. Threw it backwards in New Prairie. Oh, they call it an incomplete pass. And I have to tell you, from our vantage point, that's a terrible call.
That was a lateral, and if we get a chance to look at it again, which we have the ability to do, man, I'll tell you what. Actually, a couple of Hosinski's completions tonight have gone backwards.
Now watch here on the TC replay. Hosinski has the ball about 2 yards ahead of the stripe. He's hit as he throws it, and that ball landed a yard behind the stripe.
I think what they might be saying is that 49 hit it, and that's why it went backwards, and that might be an accurate call. We'll defer to the guys in the pinstripes because they do it more than we do, and they do it well.
On 3rd and 13, reverse to Drew Zeiger. He got through the hole, and look out. Zeiger's headed to pay dirt. Touchdown, Jimtown. Drew Zeiger does it again. He had a 64-yarder against John Glenn, and here it's a 39-yarder against New Prairie to make it 20-0 Jimtown. The touchdown sponsored by Jetline Electric.
40 yards on the night and 2 carries for Zeiger, and that one really effective. And again, you're looking at a ball club New Prairie that played well for 4 or 5 plays and missed an assignment. Had one man fall down, and the next thing you know, 39 yards and a touchdown.
And I'm sure the New Prairie fans will say, oh, and it came after a bad call. But as Bob mentioned, when the quarterback's arm got hit, all bets were off on the forward pass. You got to come back and play tough on 3rd down. And instead, Zeiger burns them with a 39-yard run, and it's 21-0 Jimtown on the game of the week. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week brought to you by Indiana University South Bend. Personal attention, the power of an IU degree. By Holy Cross College, because experience matters. And by the Vogue School of Beauty, because that's where the best in beauty begin.
Jimtown on the board. They go 49 yards in 6 plays, picked up a couple of first downs, took them 2 minutes and 46 seconds. Zeiger in from 39 yards out, 21-0. New Prairie going to get the football with 7:55 to go, 3rd quarter.
Trey Zufan, another spinning kick. This one fielded, and oh, what a pop that time by Jimtown. Coming down and making the hit was Hawkins Zimmerman. And he absolutely buried Nick Dobkins.
Going to mark him down right about the 29-yard line, where it'll be 1st down and 10.
One phase of the game where Jimtown always seems to excel are those special teams.
And that really, you know, if you're a young man, you're going to go out for football, be aware that the quickest way to get yourself into a starting position, or at least a backup position, is to excel on special teams. And you got guys coming down there thinking, hey, this is my shot. Be a part of this team. They work hard in practice, but maybe limited to a few plays on special teams, and big hit right there.
So now this New Prairie offense, which has only generated 2 first downs tonight, comes back out onto the field, and Cody Carlisle hands it off, and it'll go to the fullback Justin Dutcher, and he gets about 9 yards on that carry. That's the biggest gain on a single play for New Prairie tonight.
It is. They had a couple of 7-yard runs. They had a 6-yard run, but actually the biggest play they've had tonight, Chuck, and one of the 2 first downs in the first half was on the penalty for the late hit out of bounds.
New Prairie trailing 21-0, trying to do something no team has done against Jimtown this year, score a touchdown. On 2nd and 1, Carlisle gives it to Dutcher again. Ball pops loose. Who's got it? And it looks like New Prairie has kept the football.
Yeah, usually the Jimmies would be jumping up and down, heading to the sidelines already if they knew they had it. So it's going to be just short of the first down, I think, about a half a yard.
Justin Dutcher came out of the pile with it. He was the ball carrier once again. And you're right, Bob, it's just inches short. Nope, they give him the first down. So the 3rd first down of the night for the New Prairie Cougars, and it comes at their own 39-yard line.
Fans visit the Fit Club located on State Road 2 in South Bend, only 10 minutes east of New Carlisle. Total family fitness for life, including adult fitness classes, Zumba kickboxing, kettlebells, yoga, circuit, X-Fit, and personal training. Also, they have children's gymnastics, cheer, dance, and taekwondo. No contract involved. First adult class is free. Call them at 574-968-7989 or visit them online at www.thefitclub.com.
Carlisle throwing over the middle. It's intercepted. Drew Zeiger hauls it in at the 41. And a late flag comes out as well. So Carlisle picked off for the 5th time this season. And this time, Drew Zeiger was able to haul it in.
Jimtown takes over. First and 10 for Minnesota.
Well, the advantage was New Prairie's in the first half with turnovers. Jimtown had one, New Prairie had none. Now they've got two in the first 6 minutes of the second half.
I'll take another look on the TCU replay, and the penalty's a personal foul against New Prairie, so that's not going to help their cause either.
15-yard penalty.
Zeiger got wrestled down, and then I think they're saying he got shoved a little bit when he was getting up from the tackle. So the ball now placed at the New Prairie 45. First and 10 for Jimtown, leading 21-0. By the way, this third quarter brought to you by our friends at the Fit Club in New Carlisle.
Jimtown has had their best two possessions to start the game in the second half, 49 going in and 45 going in.
Now the Jimmies be happy to grind it out. They try to give it off to Devin Emerson. He is swarmed under by a pack of Cougars.
Back to about the line of scrimmage, did Emerson.
And we've got an injured New Prairie player down on the field. Looks like there might be a cramp problem here for Cody Van.
While they check him out, we'll tell you that Jetline Electric is a proud supporter of Jimtown Athletics and wishes the Jimmies well in tonight's game and throughout the season. Jetline Electric is licensed, bonded, and insured and can handle all of your electrical needs. Give them a call at 320-0985 for any electrical question that arises. When you think of electric, think Jetline Electric.
So Cody Van Wardenberg being worked on down on the field, and boy, this is a far different cry than the last time we were at Amzie Miller Field, Bob.
You think?
November 10th, 2006, they call it the Mud Bowl here. The weather turned on us at 6 o'clock, and the rain, it pelted down sideways. You can see it didn't take long for the field to become a quagmire. Fans were sitting out there getting the rain cascading down on them. Bo Hunt, I know you've got really fond memories of that night.
Yeah, Chuck, I believe the rain was coming sideways, and it was coming up from the ground at times. And I believe there was 2 minutes to go in the first half when they ended up going in the locker room, and I think I went to my car to dry off.
We thought you'd gone home.
They wouldn't have blamed you.
No, not at all. 2nd and 10 carry by Emerson is stopped by Luke Stanici for no gain. It'll be 3rd and 10. No, that was an unforgettable night. I've never quite seen weather like that. The only other night I can recall weather quite like that was, I believe, another regional. Penn was playing Portage in a 5A regional, and it pelted down rain, and they had to call the game because of lightning. And when they came back to play the next day, there was a huge snowstorm.
Right.
And a lot of people think it actually helped Penn win that regional because they had a much more power-oriented game than a passing Portage team. Timeout called on the field here. It's timeout sponsored by LaPorte Farm Bureau Insurance, and that sets us up for our look forward, Bob.
Well, coming up on TV 46, we've got the big parochial matchup next week, and that would be your St. Joe Indians and your Marion Knights, and always a spirited clash, to say the least. Friday night, 11 o'clock, Saturday morning at 9 a.m., and then we've got, Chuck, when you've got Southeastern Conference football between Vanderbilt and Ole Miss.
Take them down to the Grove in Oxford, my friend. Jeremiah Masoli and the Ole Miss Rebels sitting there waiting for the Commodores to come down out of Nashville.
Our broadcast starts at noon, kickoff at 12:30. Vanderbilt and Ole Miss right here on TV 46. You look ahead, brought to you by Quality Glass.
And you can't blame the Jimtown people now. They start to look ahead, and we talked at the beginning of the telecast. Maybe they're looking past New Prairie. Well, they haven't done that, but you can't blame them now if they start thinking about Concord.
Concord's, again, a team that's ranked in the top 4 in the state in Class 4A. And it's not a conference game, but it's a great matchup that Jimtown loves to play. And I'm sorry, it'll be a good test for them at this point of the season. And Concord's got to worry about it. They've got a big Northern Lakes Conference battle going tonight, and all of a sudden you're out of conference next week. But 2 ranked teams, the number 2 team in Class 3A, or maybe moving up, depending on what happens the rest of the night. But Concord, and one thing Concord can do is look ahead to Plymouth a couple weeks down the road.
Exactly. Here's Brian Hazinski looking to throw. Nobody open, and down he goes. Stanici comes through again with help from Travis Pladecki. And Hazinski goes down for a 10-yard sack back at the 45.
And that is a sack. Hazinski's had a couple negative yardage plays tonight, but He was sacked that time.
So for only the 5th time this season, the Jimmies will punt. Drew Zeiger does the honors. And as Bob mentioned, he has a terrific average. He's averaging 39.2 yards a kick.
Kicked it away from the receiver, got a good end-over-end roll, and down inside the 20.
You can't ask for much more than that. Goes out of bounds at about the 18-yard line. So New Prairie will take over 1st and 10. And tell us about our friends at the Auto Shop in New Carlisle.
Check the Auto Shop in New Carlisle. Wishes the Cougars the best of luck tonight and all season. The Auto Shop reminds you that winter's on the way and your car needs to be ready. The Auto Shop can handle all engine work as well as brakes and front end alignments. The Auto Shop is located just west of downtown New Carlisle on County Line Road. Stop by between 8 and 5 or call for an appointment. Keep this number handy during the upcoming winter, 574-303-9315. Steve and the crew are ready to help keep you moving in the right direction. The Auto Shop in New Carlisle. By the way, Steve Carlisle, his son is Cody Carlisle, the New Prairie quarterback and safety. Steve played for Chris Giesman and the Penn Kingsmen back in the 80s. Fine football player.
And Cody Carlisle hands it off to the first man through. The fullback carries for about 8 yards. Once again, that's Justin Dutcher on the carry. And Dutcher's had himself a pretty decent night. Derek Brothers in on the stop. So 2nd down, and we'll give you tonight's South Bend Tribune trivia question. Running the football, something Jimtown does very well, but who's the school's all-time leading rusher? Is it Ryan Conrath, head coach Mike Campbell, or Marcus Carpenter? We'll have the answer coming up momentarily. Trivia question brought to you by the South Bend Tribune. Discover what's in it for you.
I only know who it isn't.
Well, that's helpful, too. 2nd and 3. Carlisle hung on to the football, and that wasn't the best of choices. Derek Brothers, who's had a dominant game at defensive tackle tonight, comes in and makes another stop.
For all your insurance needs, folks, call the LaPorte, Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agency. They're the top-ranked agency in the entire state of Indiana with everything from auto, home, life, and more. Give them a call for a quick quote. They're located at 1104 Boyd Street in LaPorte. Give them a call at 219-326-6624 today. The LaPorte, Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agency, a proud supporter of New Prairie football, wants to wish them good luck tonight and the rest of the season.
I wonder if Brothers' car winds up as dinged up as his helmet does. Here's Carlisle looking to throw, and down he goes. Landon Ferguson coming through with the sack that time. Ferguson, a hard-hitting defensive tackle with his 2nd sack of the season. 3rd, I should say.
Well, we didn't have any sacks going into the last 2 series, and now there's one for each team. Carlisle went down that time. They had picked up 7 yards. That's going to be a loss of about 10 yards on the sack. So
that Jimtown front 7, which LaVille assistant coach Kevin McCullough said is as dominant as any front 7 he's ever seen at the high school level, comes through again with another big play, and now we've got a flag before the snap on the punt.
I want to thank the folks at Bruno's Pizza in Michigan Street here in New Carlisle for feeding our production crew tonight. For 35 years, Bruno's Pizza has provided the area with the best pizza in town. From 6 to 7 daily, you can get a 14-inch pizza for only $10. Bruno's is proud to donate pizza to the Prep Player of the Week and to the officials for tonight's game. And they did a great job feeding our crew, and we're really grateful to John Antonucci and his wonderful staff. Stop in and give Bruno's Pizza a call. They're at 654-3170. Call today or visit them online at brunopizza.com to take advantage of their special deals.
Robert Tenderenda with a nice punt that's fielded by John Michael Moore at the New Prairie 49-yard line. So it's about a 35-yard punt by Tenderenda. But what's interesting about his punts, Bob, is that Eric Forrest has been coming up the middle every time. Forrest is a big guy. He holds those arms up high. And Tenderenda manages to arch it over those arms every time.
And he did a good job that time. John Michael Moore lost his footing. He kind of tackled himself back there. So Jimtown with their worst starting field position in the 2nd half, but they're all the way out to the 46-yard line. And up 21-0. This will be a blue-collar approach here to the Jimtown Jimmy offense.
Well, we talked about Concord next week, but I'm sure laying in the weeds are the Culver Cavaliers. Culver, a 1A school, but they're ranked in the top 10, and they're undefeated heading into Bremen tonight. Here's a run now for John Michael Moore, and John Michael Moore going through this weary Cougar defense all the way to the 32.
And John Michael Moore handling a few issues along the sideline with the New Prairie sidelines. I think he's a little upset that he got called for a late hit. I think he's got a little more focus going right now. Nice pickup on the play. 17 yards.
So a first down carry for Moore sets up the Jimmies 1st and 10 at the Cougar 32. Lortola the fullback, Moore the tailback. And a whistle, and what happened here? Timeout called by Jimtown. The timeout sponsored by Jan's Place. With 1:58 to go in the third quarter, Jimtown leads New Prairie 21-0. And you're watching the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week brought to you in part by Imagineering Finishing Technologies, the industry knowledge source for metal finishing solutions. IFT can provide coatings, lubricants, testing, and consulting to handle your metal finishing needs. Call 800-207-2516. Put the IFT teams to work for you. More about IFT after this run by John Michael Moore, which finally ends after about 4 yards. IFT is proud of its performance, standards, and customers. With Imagineering, quality is a way of life. The team from Imagineering Finishing Technologies salutes the teams in tonight's game, and we're proud of their efforts.
Well, I'm proud of your effort jumping in there in the IFT read today.
Well, you know, you have to do all those by yourself. Hate to burden you with all that.
No problem.
Keeping all the numbers over there.
You know, you're going to be involved, Chuck, out here tomorrow. What a great cross-country tournament coming up tomorrow. That thing will go from about 8 in the morning till about noon. You got over 300 competitors coming to New Prairie High School, one of the premier events in the Midwest.
Well, actually, over 2,800 competitors by the time you get all the teams in here. They've got over 100 teams coming in tomorrow for this cross-country meet. The New Prairie Invitational has annually been one of the top meets in the state of Indiana, and it should be that way again tomorrow here. And if you want to see some great runners put forth some great individual efforts, come on out to New Prairie High School on Saturday. Like Bob said, between about 8 in the morning, and they'll wrap up about 1 in the afternoon.
Doing a great job. They have a wonderful course here, runs through the woods back here adjacent to Amzie Miller Field.
3rd and 1 for Jimtown. Hand off to the fullback, and carrying for the first down is Tanner Adams. Nope, Nick Lortola does it again.
Lortola now with 55 yards on 12 carries. 41 yards for John Michael Moore, 14 yards for Emerson, 40 yards for Zeiger. And, you know, you look at their stat sheet and you say, well, who's the dominant player? Who's the one you have to stop? Well, you got to stop all of them. And that offensive line provides holes for a lot of different people, a lot of different areas.
And therein lies the problem, because with Jimtown, I mean, you're picking your poison, and no matter what you've picked this year, it's been deadly, and it's been that way for 3 quarters here tonight. The Jimmies leading New Prairie 21-0 as John Michael Moore carries for the final 6 yards of quarter number 3. And the Jimmies are just a quarter away from posting yet another shutout and running their record of 5-0. They lead New Prairie 21-0 on the 46 Game of the Week. This edition of the TV46 High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you by Quality Glass. The difference is clear. Or the difference in this one clear tonight, too. Jimtown, plenty to cheer about on the Jimmy sideline. They lead New Prairie 21-0. We go downstairs for a Holy Cross College sideline report. And Bo Hunt, I realize we've listed off Concord and Culver, and I would think Concord would have a pretty good shot at Jimtown. But what about in the Northern State Conference? Can a little 1A school like Culver play with these Jimmies?
White Andy Thomas has got a great program down there. They're undefeated. Just had an update. They're up 10 on Bremen right now, and you know what? They got something rolling down there. They got a good guy in salary down there at running back, and you know they can put some stuff together. And as long as they don't turn the ball over and play solid defense, you know they might be able to hang with this Jimtown Jimmies.
Well, right now it's going to be a tough task for anybody because John Michael Moore just went to the end zone for another Jimtown touchdown. So John Michael Moore puts the Jimmies on the board again. They scored on the first play of the second quarter, and tonight they score on the first play of the fourth quarter and now take a 27-0 lead. And the touchdown is sponsored by Jetline Electric as you get another look on the TCU replay.
61 yards on the night now for John Michael Moore, leading ball carrier. There he is crossing the plane. Is there a process involved in that? No.
Trey Zufan comes on to try the extra point for Jimtown. Snap and hold are good, but the kick got blocked. I believe Travis Bledecki managed to dive in there and get it. And so Zufan fails on the extra point, but that's about the only failure for Jimtown tonight as they lead it 27-0, ranked number 2 in Class 3A. And as Bob mentioned, next week we've got St. Joe and Marion, but Saturday afternoon on WHME, Harvest 103.1 FM, we'll have some Indiana University football for you. Bill Lynch's team has been idle since that opening night win against Towson, and they'll venture down to take on the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky, and you can hear all the ad action Saturday at 5 o'clock, so a nice tune-up as you get ready for the Notre Dame game. Tune in to Harvest 103.1 and listen to the Hoosiers take on the Hilltoppers.
Don Fisher will have the call for you live from, where's Western Kentucky?
It's in the western part of Kentucky.
It's in, I think there was a cheerleader from Notre Dame. Was it Murfreesboro?
No, that's Tennessee.
Like I said, we'll look that up. Let's go down to Bo.
Oh, no. Don't try to get Bo to bail you out of this one, babe. You dug this hole yourself.
You're right. Indiana, though, a couple of weeks away from playing the Michigan Wolverines. Won't that be fun?
Well, 27-0 in favor of Jimtown right now. And New Prairie just trying to get a little bit of a moral victory here and maybe move the chains and put some points on the board against these Jimmies.
42 yards of total offense for the New Prairie Cougars tonight.
Zufan's kickoff, handled out there by Andrew Saylor. Saylor looking for running room. Hawkins Zimmerman shuts him down. Stop made at the 28-yard line, and so that's where New Prairie will take over 1st and 10.
Cougars haven't had real bad field position. That really hasn't been much of a factor in the game tonight. They just limited to 2 first downs in the first half. Well, they had 1 in the second half, and that's been it.
And remember, Knox only had 1 first down against Jimtown last week. So over the course of 7 quarters, the Jimmies have allowed 4 first downs. That is domination on defense. Here's Cody Carlisle, the junior quarterback. And Carlisle handed it off to Justin Dutcher, and he gets swarmed under again. As Dustin Chafin, a junior linebacker, comes through and makes the stop. Chafin, a 3-sport athlete at Jimtown, a pitcher and a wrestler.
Gain of a couple yards on that play.
Let's answer tonight's South Bend Tribune trivia question while we've got a moment here. And who is Jimtown's all-time leading rusher? We threw out 3 options for you. Ryan
Campbell.
Mike Campbell?
Is not it.
No. Marcus Carpenter went on to have a career at Wisconsin, but it's Ryan Conrath, who we just saw a couple of years ago. His Jimtown's all-time leading rusher with over 4,500 career yards. Carlisle bobbling the ball and managed to get it off somehow to Nick Dobkins, and Dobkins is able to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Dobkins 2 carries, 0 yards tonight. Jetline Electric is licensed, bonded, and insured. For all of your electrical needs, give them a call at 320-0985. Jetline Electric is a proud supporter of Jimtown Athletics and wishes them well in tonight's game and throughout the season.
So 3rd and 7 for New Prairie. I don't believe Carlisle has completed a pass tonight.
Has not.
See if he can break out of that here. Instead, they'll pitch it to Dobkins, and Dobkins manages to run around the pursuit and then goes out of bounds short of the first down marker at the 35-yard line. So it'll be 4th down and 3. Well, let's see what Marty Mawson decides to do here. He might decide what difference does it make down 27-0. Nope, he's going to send his punting unit out there with Robert Tenderenda.
Well, you got 3 downs, you get the first time, if you don't get it, coach has already made that decision. Those are decisions a lot of times you got to make midweek, that situation. 9:40 left to go in the ball game. And I think, Chuck, there have been some victories certainly with the defensive effort tonight, but boy, there's another punt that was almost blocked.
Tenderenda gets a great roll on this one, though. And the Cougars will down it at the Jimtown 24-yard line. So very nice kick by Robert Tenderenda, 41 yards that time. And Jimtown will take over 1st and 10 at its own 25. Now, Bob, we've seen the Jimmies twice. Of the other ranked teams, though, we have not seen Mishawaka yet. We've not seen Concord. We've not seen Plymouth. And there's a pretty healthy debate going on around northern Indiana as to who the best team in the area is this year.
Well, I know Matt Copsey put Jimtown on top this week in his weekly structure, but we'll certainly find out. We're going to get a chance. We'll see Mishawaka and Washington. We're going to have Concord and Plymouth. But I think the good news, Chuck, is that Northern Indiana has some very fine teams, and not sure exactly who might go all the way other than that man with the football, but Tola with a terrific run there. But we've got, I'm sure, half dozen teams that are thinking that they could compete for state championship, including Culver.
Well, Culver, a 1A team, and they'll face Jimtown in a couple weeks as you take another look at the run by Nick Lurtola as he goes for 26 yards into New Prairie territory at the 49-yard line. Very anxious. In 2 weeks, we've got the Concord-Plymouth game, which will likely decide the Northern Lakes Conference title. The Minutemen are ranked 4th in Class 4A. The Rockies are ranked 5th, although the Rockies probably have their hands full tonight with Elkhart Memorial.
Well, I know Bo Hunt thinks them Bremen Lions are pretty. Actually, Bremen's an improved ball club this year, and it's good to see that down there. Not sure about their baseball fortunes coming up in the spring, but we'll ask Bo about that in a little bit. 8:58 left to go here. I want to remind you that Carl K. Memorial supports the Jimtown Jimmies and wishes them all the best for the team and their grandson, number 53, Derek Brothers. Carl and Michaeline K. know the importance of family and have been helping Michiana families design appropriate memorials for their loved ones for over 50 years. Carl K. Memorials, a locally owned family business you can trust. Carl K. Memorials, call them at 291-6041 or visit with them at 4105 South Michigan Street in South Bend.
The New Prairie timeout is sponsored by LaPorte Farm Bureau Insurance. Well, I'm very curious to see some of these other teams as we go down the stretch. We saw Penn against Marion. They got a win over Clay tonight.
Last week.
And well, they beat Marion a couple weeks ago, and then Penn beat Clay tonight.
Oh, Penn beat Clay tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
And so the Kingsmen will get on a little roll. Of course, they'll have their annual game with Mishawaka. That's the same week as we do Concord Plymouth, but could well boil down to Penn and Mishawaka again in that 5A sectional. Here's Devin Emerson up the middle, and Emerson is able to pick up a couple of yards. And, of course, the Concord-Jimtown game next week should be a real head knocker.
Absolutely, and you mentioned a couple of games tonight. Memorial having themselves a tough battle tonight, but I'm kind of curious to see what South Bend Washington does against Marion. They've got the most prolific passer as far as touchdown passes with a great group of wide receivers. Washington trying to establish their running game a little bit, but they kind of, Clay stunned the world when they knocked off Washington to start the season, and you thought, maybe Clay got lucky, but Clay turns out to be a very good football team.
Clay's a good team, but they've got a really tough stretch coming up down the end of the season. Emerson bobbing and weaving through people, and Devin Emerson runs for about 10 yards and picks up another Jimtown first down. Tenderenda makes the stop, and here's Robert Tenderenda. What an interesting young man he is. Struck by lightning a couple of years ago. 8 fingers on his hands. Kind of a unique, battle-scarred survivor kind of kid. And he just goes out there and loves to play football. The leading tackler on this New Prairie team.
Tough kid.
1st and 10 for the Jimmies at the Cougar 38. Here's Emerson up the middle again, and Emerson behind the blocking of that offensive line kept the legs moving and picked up the first down. Now we got a late flag.
Chuck, you just can't do that. And I'm pointing to the screen while that was going on. He picked up his running back, the lineman, number 66, and not only drug him forward, but threw him forward. That's illegal helping. And, it's a nice idea. Southern Cal did it. I can't remember that guy's name, the guy that gave back. Anyway, but you just can't do that. It was a good effort, though. Watch it. It looked like a takedown in wrestling. Watch the lineman, number 66.
This is Sean Rucker, number 66. And
push. Now pull.
Yeah.
Pull. And then throws him forward for another 3. Good effort.
But it's only a 5-yard penalty, so it's going to wind up being first down and 7 yards to go. Rucker is an all-Northern State Conference guard. He's played since Rocket football, honor roll student there at Jimtown, very active in his church, so he's a fine young man, but he just got a little carried away that time, almost literally. Emerson up the middle as Hazinski fell down, and Tenderenda. Oh my goodness, that's why they call him the tenderizer, folks.
Man, I tell you what, between Tenderenda and Stanichi, there's some popping going on by those New Prairie Cougars. Chuck, we're looking at a team that's got 4, 5, 6 maybe guys that are players. They're stepping up, they're making plays. If they had 3 more,
yeah,
they don't need 8 more, but 3 or 4 more, maybe they get a couple more stops, or maybe they're on the scoreboard. But we've got an officials timeout here.
Cody Van Wardenberg has some sort of equipment problem here, so they're going to chase him off the field and have to replace him with Dennis Williamson. Van Wardenberg just happy to be back out on the field. He's had all kinds of problems with an injury this season.
Yeah, he had a fractured back after the LaPorte game. Started their season, and he's wearing a protective belt and just a little fracture. The doctor said he's okay now. They released him to play, but he loves being back in there.
2nd down and 6 yards to go. Hazinski taking his time, trying to drain as much clock as he can. Hands it off. Tanner Adams trying to spin out of the tackle, but Adams is held up by the Cougars about 2 or 3 yards short of the first down. Cody Carlisle in on the stop that time, along with Travis Bledecki.
Bo Hunt, you're down there by that New Prairie sideline. I'm looking at some body language, and I'm seeing some guys still cheering, some guys still with their spirits up. It's a tough run in the schedule they've had, but you're looking for some positives out of this. They certainly came out and played Jimtown tough tonight.
Well, I think the main point is their defense out here. I think they played very decent on the defensive side of the ball, and they've kept in it, and the players on the sideline. And, as we mentioned earlier, this is a very young New Prairie team, and they got a lot of talent out here, and look for them in, a year or two to really put some noise up in this conference.
Another handoff up the middle, though, and it's another first down run for Jimtown. And this New Prairie defense just has to be getting worn down. And give a lot of credit to this Jimtown offensive line. We've talked a lot about the diversity of the backs, but it's the same guys up front. Cody Hill, who you met at halftime. Talked a little bit about Sean Rucker. Derek Brothers, another all-conference guard on the other side of Hill. And then the tackles aren't bad either. Chad Hausman and Eric Forrest. It's as big a Jimtown line as I can ever recall, Bob.
About 235 yards rushing in this ball game now for Jimtown. And behind that line, Chuck, they just come to expect that every night, 2.5.
Pretty standard effort for the Jimmies. And there's about another 7-yard run. Carlisle hanging on for dear life as Tanner Adams gets another carry in there.
Adams now with 18 yards. I want to mention that last report there brought to you by Holy Cross College, asking what will you experience in the next 4 years. Choose Holy Cross College and experience a faculty that knows you personally, a Catholic faith-inspired curriculum that helps you discover your personal best, and a small college community within a large university campus. That's Holy Cross College, because experience matters.
Justin Brown now in at quarterback for Jimtown, taking over for Hazinski. Brown, an honor roll student. Hands off, Devin Emerson looking for running room on the left side, and he's got the first down inside the 10, and we've got a flag on the play. This one may be coming back.
Yeah, it looked like the flag came back in the line of scrimmage, and looks like it'd be a holding against Jimtown.
So that'll bring back the carry by Emerson and set the Jimmies back, and our producer director Tony Beltran says here's the hold coming up on the TCU replay. Oh yeah, Mr. Tenderenda got tackled that time.
He sure did. And Jimtown now with 33 yards and penalties. There's going to be a meeting about that on Monday. A couple of different penalties. We've had a couple of takedowns. Maybe getting ready for a wrestling season, Jeff.
Well, they've got an excellent wrestling team there at Jimtown. Mark Kern, one of the assistant football coaches, head wrestling coach, and you know what? A lot of these offensive linemen are on that wrestling team.
Keeping them busy at Jimtown. Some of the guys are wrestlers, some are in the band, some are singing. Very talented group.
Hand off, Tanner Adams trying to spin off people, and Bladecki finally takes him out. Bladecki, a big fan of the group Skillet that performed at World Pulse Festival earlier this year.
What a terrific day that was for all the fans of Christian music. I know I'm dating myself when I say I thought Amy Grant was outstanding, but we had talent that entertained from the youngsters to all of us who enjoyed the concert.
There's a lot of people who enjoyed Amy Grant, and they're not all carrying their ARP cards like you. Justin Brown in there at quarterback for the Jims. Turns and hands off to Devin Emerson. And in hot pursuit, that's Robert Tenderenda, the middle linebacker, getting Mr. Emerson around the ankles.
Tell you what, if the guys from New Prairie are watching this game, and many times the guys will get together after game, get a pizza and watch the replay. If you can look at the guys like Robert Tenderenda and Stanici and some of the guys who've really stepped up, look at the effort they're giving on every play. They're making these plays with 2.5 minutes to go in a 27-0 ball game. They want to play. They want to be as good as they can be. That's great leadership by that young man right there.
Tenderenda had a 34-yard touchdown on a fumble return last week in the Culver game. 4th and 10 now for the Jimmies. They'll go for it here with 2:23 to go, but they'll run it right up the middle, and Tanner Adams short of the first down. So the ball goes over to New Prairie on downs with 2:18 to go in the contest, and the Cougars trailing 27-0.
11 plays in that drive for Jimtown just to run some clock and to get their experience for their backup quarterback. Get some other people in the ball game now, giving them a chance to get a little playing time. And believe me, Mike Campbell has all the respect in the world for this New Prairie Ball Club and their head coach, Marty Mawson. He's not trying to run anything up. He's glad he got away with a road win and a tough test at New Prairie tonight.
This has been a tough place to play over the years for Jimtown. They have only won here. Well, this will be their second win in their last 5 tries at New Prairie. Carlisle on the quarterback keeper. Looking for running room. Cody Carlisle stumbling on out there to the 28-yard line.
Picked up 3 yards. He has 11 net yards now on the night. Coming up on our post-game show, we'll be talking to our player of the game. That's going to be a tough choice. A lot of people have played solid football tonight for Jimtown.
I could go with either Nick Lurtola or maybe somebody like Derek Brothers.
Well, it's a good call. Defense has been outstanding again. A lot of times we go with the offensive guy, but boy, 3 points in 5 games, you got to pick somebody in the defense.
And Brothers was in on a whole lot of tackles tonight and also did a nice job on that offensive line, opening things up. Justin Dutcher carries for New Prairie, and he's got himself a first down out past the 31-yard line. But, you know, eventually it's Bo that's got to flag it all down. I mean, we sit up here and pontificate, but really it's whoever Bo feels like tackling down there.
You think so?
Bo, you got a thought on who your player of the game's going to be?
Yeah, you know, the defense have played just so fantastic tonight. You know, the first 3 series, 3 and out. After the interception, they were able to stop them in the first half and hold them to no points. You know, got to go with defensive player, and Derek Brothers does sound like that player.
All right, we've got a new quarterback in here for New Prairie, and he's greeted rather rudely as coming up and making the stop that time for Jimtown. Looked like it was Brandon Weinkoff that came up and made the stop.
Nice to see some other names getting a chance to get a few minutes in this game.
New quarterback is sophomore Matt Smith, who's in there now. Smith, a 6'2", 170-pound sophomore.
Mentioned too the crowd here tonight. Good support for both teams. Certainly Jimtown travels well as we expect, but New Prairie, stay behind your team. Marty's got a good team and learning how to play good football.
The ball carried here for New Prairie for another first down as Justin Dutcher manages to get out to about the 43-yard line. Clock will stop as they move the chains with 25.8 seconds left, and if New Prairie wants, they probably have time for one more play.
55 yards rushing for Dutcher tonight, and that is the biggest gain of the night for New Prairie, and it comes in the final minute with some backups in there for the Jimtown Jimmies.
So Matt Smith will take one last snap, and unless the Cougars score here, Smith keeps it himself on the option and stayed in bounds. The Jimtown Jimmies will post yet another shutout. Jimtown allowing just 3 points on the season so far, and none of them scored tonight by New Prairie. The final score at AMC Miller Field in Rolling Prairie, Jimtown beats New Prairie by a count of 27-0. And we're back with our post-game show after this on the 46th game of the week. This edition of the TV46 High School Football Game of the Week has been brought to you in part by the Heat and Frost Insulators of Local 75, saving you money and energy today for a greener tomorrow. And the future looks bright for the Jimtown Jimmies, the state's second-ranked team in Class 3A, posting a 27-0 win over the New Prairie Cougars tonight here at AMC Miller Field. Chuck Freeby back with you alongside Bob Nagel. And it's time now to meet our TV46 player of the game. He's standing by down on the field with Bo Hunt.
WHME TV46 high school football player of the game from the Jimtown Jimmies, Derek Brothers. Derek, 27-0 victory here at New Prairie. Just tell me about the defensive battle you guys had out there tonight.
Defense, we're looking lights out all game. We like putting zeros up on the scoreboard, not letting them any points. That means we're not scoring, they're not winning. So keep them shut out.
3 points all year is all you guys given up. You guys gave up 1 first down last week. Your starting defense only 3 tonight. Just to, talk about the pride that you guys have in flying around the ball.
Oh, it's huge. I love it. Defense is awesome. We just sit there, we play as hard as we can, nothing happens, and just do it.
A lot of people think you guys only go one way. You're also part of that offensive line. You guys went for 250 yards rushing tonight. Just talked about a little bit about the offense there.
Oh, our backs just keep their legs moving. They move the whole time. They know how to keep it going, moving those chains all night and putting points up on that board.
You guys got a big game coming up. Concord. Talk a little bit about Concord and that crosstown rivalry.
Oh, it's huge. None of it. Oh, we just want to hear right now. Let's do it. We're so ready for that game. It's going to be great.
Derek Brothers, our player of the game. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Back to you guys.
I don't know. You think he's looking forward to next week?
I think he's looking forward to it. I think probably the lid is off. Now they can actually talk about the Concord game. But they had a lot of respect for New Prairie coming in here tonight. played with a lot of respect, got it done in the trenches that they usually do. Over 250 yards rushing. They passed for enough yardage to be creative and scored a touchdown on a pass. But good, solid game. I'm impressed by New Prairie. How can you be impressed with a team loses 27-0? They played tough, and they got some kids on that team that love to play football.
They're 1-4, but I think come tournament time, they'll be a little bit of a dangerous team because of the schedule that they faced already. And, of course, Jimtown, not only do they have Concord, but then the week after that they have Culver in a big Northern State Conference showdown. So far from over as we hit the midpoint of the 2010 season. The final once again here tonight at AMC Miller Field. Jimtown over New Prairie by a count of 27-0. Now our thanks to our TV 46 crew, headed up by the bubbly one, producer-director Tony Beltran, who helped bring you all the pictures of this one. And a reminder that next Friday night we'll join you from Metulski Field in Mishawaka for that annual parochial rivalry as the St. Joe Indians take on the Marion Knights. You'll see it Friday night at 11 and Saturday morning at 9. But once again, the final here tonight at AMC Miller Field in New Prairie. It's the Jimtown Jimmies 27 and the New Prairie Cougars nothing. Now for Bo Hunt and Bob Nagel, I'm Chuck Freeby saying so long from rockin' rollin' Prairie.
This week's 46 Game of the Week has been brought to you by Meyer, TCU, Electrical Workers Local 153, Holy Cross College, Heaton Frost Insulators Local 75, First Federal, IU South Bend, Hoosier Trophies, Vogue School of Beauty, Elkhart General Hospital, Quality Glass, and Imagineering Finishing Technologies.